Welcome back to the Round Number One YouTube channel. I am Michael, your host, and I'm glad to be back. I've been away from updating this channel for weeks, so in this special return episode, I'll cover and give you my opinion on some past wrestling news leading up to the current wrestling news. Let's start off with this. Ethan Page is a former wrestler with TNA and AEW who secured a job with WWE in 2024. Upon joining WWE NXT, Shawn Michaels, the head of NXT, offered Page a significant match against NXT champion Trick Williams at the Battleground event in June 2024. Unfortunately, Page lost his championship match. However, a month later, he was given another opportunity to compete for the NXT championship at July's NXT Heatwave in Toronto, Ontario. In that match, Page emerged victorious, becoming the NXT champion. This achievement marked the first WWE championship title that Page has held in his 18-year wrestling career. Page recently spoke with Sports Illustrated and discussed his assessment of his time with the NXT brand and then joining WWE Performance Center. Page said, "Imagine being hungry for 18 years and then getting the keys to a grocery store. I would take a lot. I enjoy learning from Terry Taylor. His ideas about wrestling really helped me. He has made me a better performer and a wrestler in just 6 months." Page also spoke about his boss, Shawn Michaels. "I've never had a boss with Shawn's impressive background before. He's had a successful wrestling career and now helps others succeed in wrestling. So there's a strong mutual respect there," Page said. These are just short quotes by Ethan Page. You can read the full article on Sports Illustrated website. Ethan greatly values not only his growth, but the guidance he receives from experienced figures like Terry Taylor and Shawn Michaels. Page recognizes the value of learning from those who walked the path before him. Overall, these comments illustrate Page's dedication to personal development and his appreciation for the support system around him. As a fan, I believe the WWE Performance Center is one of the most impressive developments in professional wrestling today. Ethan Page mentioned that after just 6 months of working at the WWE Performance Center, he was amazed at the experience. The WWE's developmental system's biggest project to date is Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, who currently struggle with the English language. WWE is being patient with the two superstars because if they both succeed in this case, and I have no doubt that both women will become quite fluent in English in the coming year, the WWE now has a system capable of transforming anyone, regardless of gender or foreign descent, into a superstar. This WWE Performance Center presents a significant challenge for other wrestling companies worldwide, such as AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling President Hiroshi Tanahashi, known as the Ace, has envied how WWE operates. He stated, "One thing that is helpful is that it is open to both men and women, regardless of age. Also, the speed at which star wrestlers are produced is remarkable. The turnover rate is much higher. This differs from the approach taken by Japanese promotions, and I do feel envious of that." In February 2024, Tanahashi commented on Inside the Ropes about how WWE operates. This has become more relevant with WWE's recent expansion in developing the next generation of stars called WWE Independent Development, or WWEID for short. WWEID is a brilliant initiative because it allows the world's leading sports entertainment organization to access top talent from the independent wrestling scene quickly. Instead of bringing everybody to Florida to train at a facility packed with NXT and NIL recruitment talent, WWEID recruits wrestlers and provides them with the support they need in their local areas. They are welcome when they're ready to train at the WWE Performance Center in Florida. The secret sauce of the WWEID program is that the talent is already connected with schools affiliated with WWE, including institutions owned by WWE Hall of Famer Booker T's Reality of Wrestling, current WWE champion Cody Rhodes' Nightmare Factory, and Seth Rollins' Black and Brave Wrestling Academy, among others. A brilliant idea that is coming to fruition is that all current and past WWE wrestlers who operate wrestling academies or schools will be affiliated with WWEID. They will receive startup funding to train recruits and prospects in the WWEID program properly. WWE, through the act of God, has finally managed to capture the excitement and opportunities of the future. What I mean by that is that the circumstances have promoted people to remove the seemingly unmovable obstacle named Vince McMahon. This change paves the way for a new era in WWE, which I've heard Triple H refers to as the Netflix era. This new era is driven by a leader who operates differently than Vince and generally approaches the support system around him. Recently, Triple H stated to Fightful, "If WWE becomes what I want, the show will die." If Vince were to say something like that to a news outlet, it would simply be unbelievable. Now let's talk about the future. I'm unfortunately not as intelligent enough to discuss the entertainment industry as others, but I want to talk about television. Television is moving away from being referred to as cable or broadcast, while content services such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and others like Crunchyroll for anime and cartoons are now referred to as television. Bonnie Hammer, who stood atop USA Network and Bravo at NBC Universal for many years, has recently stated in her exit interview with The Hollywood Reporter that cable is not making the money it used to make. Money is why the WWE has brought the wrestling programs, which people have been able to watch on linear television from at least 1971 to 2025 on Netflix. This is a significant change for professional wrestling outside of America, as the WWE will not be on linear television starting in January 2025. Eventually, all WWE programming will leave linear television globally. Soon, that will also include the UFC, and it's highly likely that in 2029, the NFL its cost to drop their non-ESPN ABC network deals for a move to Netflix. If you watch the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul event, Jerry Jones joined the broadcast team at a break in action and was very happy to note his desire for Netflix to become a massive part of the NFL's future. If you didn't know, there will be a live NFL game on Netflix on Christmas Day. In January 2025, WWE programming will move to Netflix, and AEW Dynamite will be simulcast live on Max and TBS. More details on AEW will be shared shortly. Many people anticipate that this transition to Netflix will change WWE's presentation. One confirmation is that Raw, SmackDown, and NXT will air live on Netflix wherever they broadcast worldwide. In the United States, NXT and SmackDown will be shown on tape delay on USA Network and the CW Network for if those shows originate outside North America. It's essential to address WWE's move to Netflix. Officials from WWE and Netflix have assured viewers that Raw will remain a family-friendly program after the transition to streaming. However, it's difficult to recognize that WWE has consistently claimed that their weekly programming, including pay-per-views, is family-friendly, which is only partially accurate. Parents who take their children to sporting events often ensure that these events are marketed as family-friendly. WWE standard practices for live events focus on creating a welcoming atmosphere for families, making the show suitable for all ages. This approach often leads to increased ticket sales and anticipated merchandise purchases at events. Additionally, WWE encourages attendees to buy tickets for future live events. Furthermore, while WWE has incorporated content specifically for children, we have also witnessed Vince McMahon using inappropriate language on live broadcasts and The Rock saying whatever he pleased in front of an audience that included children who may already be exposed to inappropriate language at home. Despite WWE's recent success, which include over more than 40 television sellouts in 2024 and more than 59 event sellouts, parents have yet to express significant concerns about WWE straying from its TV PG content. While WWE programming is unlikely to face censorship, while I think that WWE program is unlikely to face censorship during live broadcasts on Netflix, I do believe that both the WWE and Netflix will likely discourage the use of coarse language. If such language does occur, I don't expect it to be censored. I do believe an edited version for later streaming may remove inappropriate language and content, but the live broadcast will remain unaltered. Before this recording finishes, I want to briefly talk about independent contractors in professional wrestling and how little rights they have compared to us working class citizens. You're on the job and you get injured, guess what? Depending on where you live, your employer will pay you for the remainder of the day while you're at the hospital. You then have the right to seek compensation for your injuries, something that independent contractors often struggle with. They don't have the same safety benefits or safety nets, leaving them vulnerable and without support during difficult times. Months go by and you have recovered from injury, and guess what? As a working class citizen, you can refuse to return to your job. As an independent contractor in wrestling, you don't have permission if and when you're coming back. This disparity highlights the significant differences between traditional employment and independent contracting in the wrestling industry. While working class citizens have certain protections and rights, independent wrestlers operate under a precarious situation where they can be perceived as disposable. They often face pressure to return to the ring long before they are fully healed, purely for the sake of maintaining their status or income. This culture not only jeopardizes their physical health, but also can lead to long-term consequences for their careers and personal lives, without the security of health benefits or the right to refuse unsafe work. Independent contractors are left to navigate a challenging landscape on their own. It's essential for fans and industry stakeholders to acknowledge these issues and advocate for better rights and protection for independent wrestlers. They deserve the same level of care and consideration that any other worker would expect. After all, their passion for the sport should not come at the expense of their well-being. Only through collective awareness and action can we begin to change this narrative and ensure a safer and more equitable environment for all wrestlers.